again, it has been a fantastic day. The only question we had as Linux Foundation, and there is a mic so people can get up and speak, what else can we do beyond what we have just discussed? Any feedback for us in terms of, hey, go do this. One session had, I think Paul mentioned it very nicely, right? Like he was thinking about license strategy and things like that. So I want to throw in a plug there, which is if you have legal teams that are trying to understand this, Linux Foundation offers that service in terms of all of our members. There's free legal summit. There are, we can have our legal teams explain the licenses. It is complex. I mean, for geeks like us, legal is complex, right? So, that's a lot. So I just want to make sure that you take advantage of that. Work through Mike on any of that licensing stuff, right? There's a lot of options. It just does not have to be Apache 2. Just keep that in mind, okay? So that was one. But what else can we say? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Arpit. Thanks for your effort in leading the event here. So I'm, I guess, one of the few academics here. And one thing, my first time attending the LF event, one takeaway I have here is actually, the level of effort that it's going to take to make this open source work, right? And especially if you want to integrate in different components and then deliver something that potentially the end users, communities can leverage. So one request or question would be, I understand LF has education programs, but if there's any way to probably somehow find ways to better engage the academic community so that we can be better prepared in educating the kids in the classroom today so that they can contribute back sooner or better, that'd be great.
Okay, so I think that's a good question. And we do have a lot of internship programs. We have ad hoc universities that participate and join as associate members, right? There's no membership fee, et cetera. So all of that is going on. We will go back and figure out a more cohesive way to get into the networking, or the professors who take care of networking and kind of go and do that. Now, while you're here, I can tell you two things that are important from an integration perspective, right? So we have something called 5G Super Blueprints, right? That's kind of an integration effort. But instead of one person doing it, the members and the community does that, right? There are labs, right? Like UNH runs the LFN labs. The labs are shared. There is a process behind it. And it's open to everybody, right? And so we have the ability to have students or people to do integration on the 5G Super Blueprint. In fact, to a point where you can actually go in and define what the next blueprint needs to look like, right? So integration-wise, that would be the answer. Involvement-wise, I don't know if we can, if there is a way to get to all the professors that, we can go down the top 50 and then down, locally we know. You saw yesterday, UC Berkeley announced a new paraglider project, right? So it's ad hoc, I should say. But thank you for the question.
I'll add, we have a very robust education department. And so we have, of which 80% of the content is free. And so it helps students at all levels learn how to engage in the open source communities, as well as building their own personal reputation within those open source communities as contributors. We also are happy to partner with universities and hosting projects, and we've got multiple instances of that, one of which we saw here yesterday at the keynote stage, where Sarah from UC Berkeley was on stage announcing the project.
Paraglider.
Paraglider, thank you. I remembered the internal code name, but now that's the public name, thank you. And then we do have the associate membership, as Arpit mentioned, and we can create like a journey, if you will, like a journey map. So we often refer to the Linux Foundation as the Sherpas for organizations, whether they're private, not-for-profit, academia, research, to help them guide in their open source integration. And we can customize a journey for students so they can see all the free courses that are available to them on learning how to work with, whether it's learning how to work with Git at the very beginning of the journey, all the way to how to work with the open source community and the ethos and exactly how the development model works. So, Arpit went directly to the networking and edge specific, but I think there's also a beginning part of the journey that we can also support with as well. And I would be happy to be a contact. So for anyone here representing universities, I'll be happy to be a gateway. I've been here over 16 years helping build the Linux Foundation with Jim Zimlin from the ground up. You can contact me at mike@linux.com. You can't forget it, just mike@linux.com, and that'll route to my email address.
Cool.
Thank you.
Other questions that we can help with? What else can we do? Again, we are here to facilitate, and personally, having done enough startups and large vendors in this space, I love to move the industry forward and help move I can't move it, but help to move it forward with you all. So that's kind of why we are here. So if any bright ideas or anything that you need from Linux, I think you just send him an email. All right, Mike, what else?
Any other questions on how the Linux Foundation can facilitate?
One more? Yeah?
So I think Ted did a good job of highlighting the importance of data, like, actually realistic network data. Today, I'm not aware of really one place or even any place that has that. Do you think Linux Foundation could actually help facilitate something like a repository for open data on, especially for networking, RIC applications?
Yeah, great question. So
just let me clarify. Data as in like data or information?
Data.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
Like things, for example, like for the RIC applications, right? A lot of it relies on, I guess we keep on calling them operator data. Obviously, that is
so
protected really
data
well.
sets is
like
what you...
data sets,
Okay, fair enough.
like
Okay.
RSRP of users,
Fair enough.
traffic patterns, et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Linux Foundation is the home of not only open source projects, but we are the home of open data sets, and we created the world's adopted data licenses. They're equivalent to a permissive and separately a non-permissive license. We call it the CDDL. We created that. It's been adopted by many companies. We have a major initiative in the mapping space called Overture Maps, which is all about data sharing, and we would welcome the opportunity to work with this sector on open data sets. I'll let you go into more detail.
Yeah, so I think the only sensitivity, so there's two things, and I don't want to bore you at 5 o'clock with details, but the network data is definitely something that is important, not just to train the domain-specific models, but also, if you don't share, you don't train, right? The problem is the sensitivity of the data because it has a lot of things that you can't share. So two things need to happen. The provider that has the data, and if they want to share, they have to use a license, CDLA in this instance, which is the sharing license, which means you are releasing this to the open source world or open world and sharing. That's one thing that needs to happen. The other thing we're working under LF networking, under a project called Anuket, is obfuscating that data, right? So it's a project called Thought, right? What they do is they take the data, obfuscate it in such a way that you can still train the models, you can still use it, but it is not given insight. It's just not possible to do it. So there are techniques on that, but short answer is yes. We have been looking into it and working very closely with that. So okay, what else? Okay, I think it's 1 minute to 5. Let's wrap.
All right. I want to thank the behind-the-scenes folks. I want to give a big thanks to David Kirkwood at OUSD R&E and Denise Squire for helping pull together all of the key
Can you stand up,
and
please?
speakers.
You guys pulled it
Yeah.
off, so I'm not going to. I know it's embarrassing, but
Denise, I think you deserve a stand-up too, so don't be shy, please. Thank you for all your hard work. And we want to thank everyone here for participating in all the questions and all the panels, and of course to our speakers. We're excited to have this be a continued cadence of communication on these hot topics. So don't be shy. Feel free to follow up. We still have a lot of the speakers in the room that you can follow up with afterwards. And thanks again for making it to the 6G Innovation Day.
thank you, and it's Mike at Linux.com.